Are you prepared for international civil war? If you value truth, wisdom, life, freedom, and love, I urge you to listen to what I have to say. Lines are being drawn. Numerous international civil wars are brewing. But are these wars the result of various individuals and groups fighting with other individuals and groups for genuinely valid life and freedom threatening reasons? Or are relatively few people, the powers that be, simply attempting to control the thoughts, feelings, words, and actions of the masses via hypnosis, strategic division, selective destruction, and worse, in order to get and keep what they want, which is extremely comprehensive control of the masses? My name is Soren Sorensen, and I believe that the powers that be are attempting to control the masses. Before you rush to judge, dismiss, belittle, or bully me, please allow me to explain my perspective. Then you can decide whether or not I am offering you anything of value. Section 1. Who are the powers that be? The powers that be is an informal reference to any person who has power over others, regardless of whether they hold this power as a solitary individual or as part of a group. Not all such persons act in life, freedom, and love-nurturing ways. And not all such persons act in destructive, restrictive, and fearful ways. That said, for the purposes of this essay, when I say the powers that be, I am specifically referring to those persons that have significant power and tend to act in destructive, restrictive, and fearful ways. Note that groups are not persons and cannot act apart from the actions of its members. Section 2. Discernment. There are two different kinds of people. Those who are willing to deceive, lie, cheat, coerce, steal, and/or destroy to get and keep what they want, and those who are not, even if it means they will never get or will lose what they want. Section 3. Your real enemy. Unfortunately, those who are willing to deceive, lie, cheat, coerce, steal, and destroy can gain power quickly, and the more such a person is able to reach their goals, the more emboldened they become, and the more power they can potentially, and potentially exponentially, gain. Naturally, this has always been the case, but with current and emerging technology, such people pose a threat that is impossible to overstate. If this sounds like an exaggeration to you, I encourage you to learn more about current and emerging technology in every area. You will be amazed, concerned, and humbled. If things continue as they are, you should expect that 1. We will be increasingly deceived, lied to, cheated, coerced, stolen from, and injured or destroyed by the powers that be, and those who are naively and unknowingly under their influence. Ultimately, we will be manipulated into numerous international civil wars between innocent and well-meaning people for the purpose of implementing mechanisms for as much control of the human species as is possible. If you ever find yourself feeling judgmental and dismissive, or you are actively belittling and bullying others, realize that you are naively and unknowingly under the influence of the powers that be. For this reason, I strongly recommend that you actively starve any group that harbors these qualities. 2. You should expect that technology will be increasingly developed and used to cause the masses to think, feel, say, and do whatever the powers that be desire. Said differently, we will gradually lose our freedom to think, feel, say, and do whatever we want. Other than life itself, what is more valuable than life's freedom? A super tiny bit more about technology. There are too many relevant technologies to list, but vitalizing them all is data collection and analysis. Data collection. Expect that anything and everything that can be tracked will be tracked, eventually to include, among other things, inside your home, your body, and your mind. Data analysis. Expect that all data collected will be analyzed in every imaginable way in order to learn anything and everything that can be learned, especially for the purpose of controlling what people think, feel, say, and do, and ultimately to functionally replace humans. Many people argue that they have nothing to hide and are happy to be 100% monitored in every way, especially if it includes substantial benefits. These people do not understand that such monitoring all but guarantees eventual 100% control. To understand this, you must study psychological technology. As long as technology creators, especially the funders and investors, are willing to harm others to reach their goals, humans will create technology that eventually enslaves, harms, and destroys us all. To be absolutely clear, technology is not your enemy. Neither is this political party or that political party, nor the masked or unmasked, or this religion or no religion, or the black, brown, red, white, or blue, or the LGBT-phobic or supporter, or the legal or illegal. Your real enemy is anyone who is willing to deceive, lie, cheat, coerce, steal, and or destroy to get and keep what they want. Section 4. Join the army of critical thinkers. In a world where extremely powerful people are willing to deceive, lie, cheat, coerce, steal, and destroy whatever might be required to reach their goals, critical thinking is absolutely essential. If enough people can become critical thinkers in an extremely short period of time, we can starve the people and projects that are ultimately driven by fear, control, and disempowerment, and instead consciously identify and nurture projects driven by genuine love, freedom, and empowerment. Time is of the essence. A sufficiently controlled population is a powerless population. Critical thinkers don't wonder if the future of our world is in danger. They know it is. If you are not yet a critical thinker, I beg you to become one. Section 5. Boot Camp. Become a critical thinker. Intelligence is the ability to determine and apply what is true. Education, on the other hand, is merely indoctrination. It may or may not be packed full of truth, untruth, or both. If you have been highly educated, this is especially important for you to understand. It doesn't matter how many people preach or believe the same message. It may still be untrue. History supplies endless proof of this truth. It is also important to understand that even genuine knowledge is not power, as is often mistakenly suggested. Intelligence is power. Knowledge is leverage when in service to intelligence. Obviously, there is a direct relationship between critical thinking and intelligence. Fortunately, intelligence is not a gift that some are born with and others can never possess. Instead, it is a set of observation and evaluation skills, among other skills, that can be learned, practiced, and improved. Critical thinkers know that public school systems were not designed to truly empower people. They were primarily designed to indoctrinate them. Therefore, if you want to become ever more intelligent and an ever more critical thinker, you must empower yourself. The first step to becoming a critical thinker is to actively notice and study the details, as subtly as you are able to, of everything you observe, everything you see, read, hear, smell, taste, touch, intuit, or otherwise sense. In particular, notice what you absolutely know with 100% certainty to be true, what you know to be untrue with 100% certainty, and what you are not sure of, ranging from remotely possible to extremely probable. Naturally, the more you practice this way of learning, the better you will get at it. As a critical thinker, if you genuinely want to know the whole truth about things, you will have to learn to do your own potentially extensive research. You will also have to learn to be okay with uncertainty. Unfortunately, in many cases, it will be impossible for you to ever know the whole truth with 100% certainty. Never forget that spoken and written words are especially prone to being untrue. Spoken and written words are merely an attempt to communicate something which may or may not be true, and something which the speaker or writer may or may not even actually know the actual truth about. Even when the speaker or writer has the very highest of reputations and the very purest of intentions, it is often a case of the tragically misinformed misinforming others. Hopefully, this is not the case here. One of the major mistakes that non-critical thinkers make is to believe that major world leaders are as stupid as they sound. Consider that maybe they aren't. Maybe they have an undisclosed agenda, or are under the profound control of those that do. How can you know for sure? It's actually quite simple. Study what they do, don't do, allow to be done, and don't allow to be done. In the beginning, it may be easiest if you completely ignore anything and everything they say. Once you have built a solid foundation of action-based observation, their words will become far more revealing. Generally speaking, do not believe what major world leaders say. Believe only what they do. Section 6. Revoke your misplaced trust. Trust must be earned. It is critical that you stop believing what the soundbite news reporters tell you via TV, radio, internet, magazines, newspapers, etc. Unfortunately, genuinely unbiased news reporters are increasingly rare, and unbiased news outlets might well be non-existent. If this is not obvious to you, even a modest amount of whole truth fact-checking will reveal that you are being constantly deceived. Similarly, it is critical that you stop believing what your family and friends tell you about things that are not related to their own personal lives. Most people acquire the truth from sources that are simply not trustworthy. Few people have the motivation and resources required to learn the actual truth. Also, if you belong to a group, especially religious, educational, scientific, political, business, and similar groups, make sure that you don't let the group do your thinking for you. It is critical that you do your own research and draw your own conclusions. And remember, groups don't think, people do. Who then should be trusted? Only those who have sufficiently and consistently demonstrated to you that they are a genuinely critical thinker who lives in life, freedom, and love-nurturing ways. Hopefully this includes you. If not, consider how it would feel to become such a person and do it. Finally, realize that your memory includes a vast amount of thoughts, ideas, and conclusions, many of which may cause you to inadvertently serve destructive agendas. Fortunately, you can resolve this problem and empower yourself by carefully reviewing and correcting or discarding your beliefs. It is not always easy to be a critical thinker, but you can and must do it. We all need you. Note: I urge everyone to stop using intentionally obfuscating terms such as disinformation, misinformation, counterinformation, propaganda, dishonest advertisement, and fake news. Instead, just call it what it actually is: lies. No matter how you look at it, incomplete truths, out-of-context truths, twisted truths, and sometimes 100% untruth are all just various forms and examples of lying. Section 7. Our War Plan. Create a life, freedom, and love-nurturing world. If you are a veteran critical thinker, know that you are acknowledged and appreciated. I have never met a critical thinker that didn't have a difficult time living in this world. Please protect your hope. If you are just now realizing that you have not previously been a critical thinker, welcome. Strategy number 1. Actively identify the real issues. Don't be distracted by fear or anger-driven emotional intensity, your own or others. It will only lead you astray. Instead, first identify specifically what you most want to accomplish, individually or collectively. Then identify the most significant obstacle to that accomplishment and focus all of your attention on that. Once resolved, identify the next most significant obstacle and focus all of your attention on that, and so on. In this way, you will move most effectively and efficiently towards the realization of your intentions. The secret is to not be distracted or caught up in emotional drama. A word of warning: if you decide to believe what untrustworthy others proclaim to be the real issues, you may be serving and empowering your real enemy and threatening the health and happiness of our world. This is not critical thinking. This is hypnosis. Have you been gradually hypnotized? Strategy number 2. Actively starve the real problems. If what you want to accomplish, individually or collectively, is the dissolution of something, you need only starve that thing of whatever it is that nurtures it. In social matters, it is usually attention alone. If it is something that requires money to thrive, you must find effective ways to comprehensively deprive it. If it requires human employees, they must have the courage and commitment to quit and find other employment. A word of warning: if you decide to believe what untrustworthy others proclaim to be the real problems, You may be serving and empowering your real enemy and threatening the health and happiness of our world. This is not critical thinking. This is hypnosis. Do you carelessly support cancel culture? Another word of warning. If you are willing to starve others, individuals or organizations, simply because they have perspectives and opinions that differ from yours, you are a threat to life, freedom, and love. If you want to help create a truly ever better world, you must starve only those individuals and organizations that you personally know with 100% certainty are willing to deceive, lie, cheat, coerce, steal, or destroy to get and keep what they want. Strategy number 3, actively nurture the real solutions. If what you want to accomplish, individually or collectively, is the creation or strengthening of something, you need only provide that thing ample amounts of whatever it is that nurtures it. In social matters, it is usually attention alone. If it is something that requires money to thrive, you must find effective ways to comprehensively finance it. If it requires human employees, they must have the courage and commitment to serve. A word of warning. If you decide to believe what untrustworthy others proclaim to be the real solutions, you may be serving and empowering your real enemy and threatening the health and happiness of our world. This is not critical thinking. This is hypnosis. Are you inadvertently a useful idiot? These key strategies may seem like gross simplifications of the actual processes. But if you carefully study and apply the details I have outlined, you will find that they offer sufficient guidance for any truly intelligent being. Naturally, you will have to identify and answer numerous questions along the way, but I am entirely confident that you and your team, if applicable, can do it, if you truly want to. Please dedicate some time every day to ask yourself what actions you can take that very day to help create the world you want to live in. Find or create opportunities to help that are based on your natural abilities and desires. The future health and happiness of our precious world needs you. Make no mistake, our future health and happiness is gravely threatened. Time is of the essence, and your help is desperately needed. I'd like to include an extra note for critical thinkers. I am sure that you recognized that there is an important exception to the idea that one should never be willing to deceive, lie, cheat, coerce, steal, or destroy in order to get or keep what they want. That exception is when it is absolutely necessary in order to defend life or freedom. I have omitted this in order to emphasize other ideas that are presently far more important. As you know, many people have been deeply and profoundly conditioned to falsely believe that many things are life or freedom threatening, and that they should use any and every means available to serve the hidden agendas of their influencers. Obviously, this kind of false belief is an essential requirement for false division and contrived civil war. So from my perspective, the first and most essential step is to help people become able to separate fact from fiction for themselves. If this doesn't happen, we are doomed. Thank you for considering my perspective. These are sensitive times. If I said something in a way that triggered you, please let me know so that I can attempt to improve the way in which I express what I am intending to express. I welcome your comments, questions, and suggestions. You can contact me at www.sorensorensen.com. Thank you for your time. My love to all.